Hello there, world of tankers. Welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, I'll be fully reviewing the Tier 9 British collector medium, the Vickers MBT. This is honestly a really fun vehicle, and what's interesting is it actually used to be a Tier 8. Most of the statistics I have in this tank are when it was a Tier 8, hence my kind of lower than average damage you'd want for a Tier 9 vehicle. But today, I'll be letting you know everything you need to about this tank, so if you enjoy content like this, and you want to see more in the future, make sure to smash that subscribe button down below. Now, the first thing that I figured we'd do is talk about the statistics and the armor. And this thing has quite a bit of armor, especially for a medium. The upper plate is over 300 millimeters thick, and that's not even running enhanced armor. If you are, it's over 317. If we're loading gold shells, there's very, very small weak points on the turret, but even those are upwards of 270 millimeters. In other words, you are genuinely going to struggle to cut through the front of the Vickers MBT. The upper plate, even on flat ground, is not going to be penetrable. Firing heat shells, you're going to be looking at, 340 millimeters of required armor. So it's pretty impressive. But there is one big weak spot, and that is the hatch. This entire big bongler hatch is a weak point, and yeah, people are going to struggle to hit that. So you do got to make sure you got to try and hide that hatch as much as possible. Even if you try to use the gun to block, it's not going to do anything. In fact, it's probably going to make it go through your gun, damage your gun, potentially destroy it, and also damage the vehicle. So don't actually try to gun block with this tank. It's not going to benefit you. The best thing you can do is wiggle the turret back and forth. Now, when it comes to the gun, it's got some decent strengths and some weaknesses. It has 2,600 DPM, which is about middle of the class for the mediums category. It has very good shell velocity because it does feature APCR, but its damage per shot is a bit on the lower side at 320. When it comes to the mobility, it has a top speed of 57, a reverse of 20, and a pretty low power to weight ratio, making it one of the slowest mediums in Tier 9. But I guess it makes sense for how much armor it has. As I mentioned, shell velocity is pretty impressive, 1,300 on the standard, and if you're loading premium, it's 1,550, which makes it one of the fastest shell velocities in Tier 9. The dispersion is also kind of mid. We can see 0.273 ranks it literally middle of the pack. On-move dispersion is also pretty average, but the turret traverse dispersion is horrible. In other words, you really don't want to turn the turret too much if you're trying to snap a shot. Turn your hull, not the turret. I know that can sound weird, but generally, it's a bit easier in practice than you might think. Overall, the Vickers MBT sacrifices its gun handling and overall mobility for the gun and the armor. Obviously, the gun itself doesn't have that many strengths, but it does have APCR standard and premium, which is getting a direct buff next update. Not only that, but it also features incredibly good armor. I mean, that's really as simple as it is. This Tier 9 medium has more armor than most Tier 10 mediums. And not only that, but when you pair it with a gun that has decent DPM and penetration, you're not going to struggle too much to cut through enemies. So here we are, first game on Canal. Up against us, we have a Tornvon, an M4Yo, and a K2. Apart from that, they only have a Skoda T50 and an RU251. Okay, well, we'll see what we can do. I am a big fan of the looks of this vehicle. I wish it had a legendary camo, but I still think it's a very nice-looking tank. Honestly, it could have been a Tier 10. I wouldn't be surprised at some point if Wargaming did make this a Tier 10, but that'd be pretty funny, right? Going from Tier 8 to Tier 9 to Tier 10. Either way, let's see what we can do. We have a Grom, a Tortoise, and a T49. I mean, I guess that's a pretty fair matchup if you think about it. We are going to Speedler on into position. You can see that mobility here. Like, it does get up to 57, but you're generally going to take a while, and even then, we're only getting up to 53, 54, so the tank may feature a pretty good top speed, but generally you're not going to be reaching it. Now, we can see the enemy Skoda T50 already just got obliterated, and, well, we hit him as well, bringing him down another 330 hit points. I don't think that Skoda enjoyed that all too much. Ooh, and there you go, another shot right into the turret, basically removing that player from the gene pool. Okay, well, our T49 is playing fairly aggressive, and the Skoda, I'm not really sure what they're doing. But, oh well, we're just going to chill here. Is the Tornvon going to try and hit me? No. I'm glad I didn't push up because I did not want to fight a haul down Tornvon. Question is, what is that player going to do? Are they going to send our T49? Well, it looks like they are. And my shell did not want to pen the flat side. Okay, well, we're going to move up, and I'm going to try and support my teammate from this Tornvon. So let's go for the shell right into the turret, bleeding him out a bit at least. And The thing is, even if the Tornvon hits me, I know for a fact he's quite low on DPM at this point. There's 389 into the RU, and what are we doing, my guy? Well, I can tell you that we're dead. This Tornvon, not a very fun tank to fight, I have to say. It's actually the least fun tank to fight because it's a completely overpowered auto-reloader. So, we're going to get one shell into his vehicle, and I don't want to back up, so I'm just going to chill here. We're going to angle my armor like this, and we're going to go for the engine deck, which we did pen the shell on. We're going to make sure the Tornvon can't hit me. Just like that, he's out of the game. Pretty good stuff, 2,500 damage, and there's only 2 vehicles left on the enemy team. We have the TS-60 and the Titan Charioteer. Well, I don't think we're going to be dealing much more damage this game. I'm obviously trying as quickly as I can to get into position. And we do have the TS-60, but let's see, aiming, and boom. Well, unfortunately, our shell did not end up penetrating. But we do have the Titan Charioteer right in front of me, and we're going to aim it on that player really quickly. Go right for the turret. Very easy penetration. While the Titan does hit me in return, I don't think he's getting benefited all too much. There's another shell into his vehicle, and let's see. I'm going to angle my hull. There you go. We get a bounce, and we miss the shot. However, I think we should still be okay in terms of reload. We should out-reload the Titan. Let's see. Boom. There you go. He's out of the game, and just like that, we did 3,247 damage. We completely dominated the medium flank, and it really does show where this vehicle is strong. I mean, even that Tornvon, bro, really thought he was going to get away with that YOLO, and I was not going to let him kill my T-49 for free. So, pretty good stuff, right? You can see that we didn't really bounce that much, but we also didn't really use our gun depression. The armor is only going to be effective when using gun depression because, again, we can see looking at the armor, you got a big old lower plate, and it's pretty weak. And while your sides are actually decent, if you do get, you know, a pretty exposed angle, you're not going to struggle all too much. So the point being, you want to try and hide your lower plate and side armor at all costs. Stay hull down, use that gun depression, and bleed out your enemy from a distance. So second game, what do we have? Well, another tier 9 and 8 battle. All right, let's try one more time. We got a Tornvon, the exact same one. We have a Celino, TS-60. And a Waffle. Wow, that is a very dangerous lineup. However, one thing I should mention is that their team only has 2 tier 8 mediums. That gives us an advantage because obviously I'm in a medium tank. So we'll see what we can do. The question is, will my Pantera support me on the medium flank, or is he going to go to the heavy flank? Well, looks like I actually am getting support, so that's pretty rare, but I'll take it. So, yeah, we're going to push up into the bush in front of me here. Pantera is going to support me, and it looks like we have some tanks going to mid, which also is pretty beneficial to me. But yeah, we're going to chill right in this bush. There is the enemy at T-44. We get a nice shell into his tank, and there's really no world this T-44 can pen me, so we're just going to chill here. Got another 340 damage into his vehicle, and yeah, long live the T-44, right? Well, there you go. He's out of the game. Our Pantera got some bleeds into him. Not really sure what that player's big brain plan was, but there was no way that T-49 was going to pen me anyway, hull down. Alright, well, we have the TS-60, which we bounce. Interesting. Honestly, that's really shocking that we did bounce that. We have the enemy Celino, who I am aiming in on the turret of, because I can't hit the lower plate, but either way. We got 250 damage, which isn't too bad, and I can't really pen the Celino at all. That thing has crazy good armor. Alright, well, let's just wait for the Celino to drive over the ridge, and there you go. Another 330. We're still not spotted because we're using the bush mechanics properly, and boom, there you go. Another 334 right there. It's pretty good stuff. Celino literally cannot pen me, and because we have way more DPM than him, we can just sit here and potentially bleed him out. I mean, I really don't think the Celino is going to be able to do much. However, there is a lot on me, right? We have the TVP on my flank, and I should have shot at the TVP. It's pretty frustrating that that player was able to bleed me that much. Oh! That shell on my screen looks like it went right through him. Maybe I'm delusional, but kind of looked like that went right through him, didn't it? Either way, we are already up to 2,600 damage, and I think we made the right play going for the Celino. That guy's a one-shot anyway. So, let's move up and see if we can get some more damage out. Conway gets a nice shell into the Tornvon, and we are going to drive right behind the Tornvon, just like this. Load a high explosive, nice 413 damage into his vehicle once. Reloading again, and there's another 355 damage. That puts us up to 3,400. And at this point, there's not much left. We have the Celino, who is most likely right here. There you go. Nice shot into the Celino. and I'm going to take out the TVP because that player's been kind of annoying. However, doesn't look like they're giving me the opportunity to shoot them, and they don't want me to poke them either. Come on, poke it. Goodbye. There you go, nice. 3,857 damage. Our armor worked pretty well. We only got shot in the side when we got penned, but the Waffle and Celino both bounced me. And you can see again where the gun is, it's decent, right? If you can get this thing hauled down, even though its accuracy and its DPM aren't the craziest, it's still plenty. And because you actually have armor, you don't need to back up. You don't need to worry about, you know, baiting the enemy. You can just shoot them and shoot them and shoot them. So another really good game. I'm going to try and get one more game in. We haven't fought a tier 10. There we go. That's a lot better. Up against us, we have a Mouse, Chieftain Mark 6, and a Tornvon in terms of heavies, an E50M, and a Progetto, 92E1 in terms of mediums, and just a single 183. Okay. Well, we'll see how this goes. They do have two decent players in tier 10s, and that's always not a great thing when you're in a tier 9, because obviously you don't make nearly as big of an impact in a tier 9 as a tier 10 heavy's going to. And with our team going town, that could be bad news bearer if that Mouse and Chieftain end up going this way. Good driving there, Batshot. Oh, man. Alright, well, there's the enemy Chieftain. Not surprised. There's the 183. We have the enemy 50. Will the Prog try and cross? They do. We get a shell into them, and at this point, it's not looking great. I gotta be real, it's not looking great. We have very, very little support, and I'm gonna head over here. There's the 50. Chieftain bounced me, that's pretty good. I'm getting out of here, this is garbage. This is looking like a loss and a half, if I'm gonna be totally honest. But we're gonna try to move up over here. Let's see if we can get some damage into the enemy Mouse. Aiming. And we got the Tornvon. There you go. Nice 322. The Mouse is doing... I'm not really sure what the Mouse is doing, but there you go. Nice shot into him. I meant to say I don't know what our Batshot's doing. Okay, well, Chieftain's in mid. We have the 183. I'm going to ignore the Chieftain for now, and I'm going to try and push the T92E1. Definitely the biggest threat. Okay, my RNG did not work with me right there. Let's keep going and see if we can keep on this T92E1's rear. There you go, nice 406. And on... Oh, my Batshot. What do you mean? What is that? As I said, this gun is not the most accurate on the move, so because of that, you know, sometimes hitting your shots, it can be a bit iffy. However... Okay, never mind, we're just never going to hit our shot, I guess. Well... The 92E1 does get killed finally, so that's pretty good. There you go. Nice shot into the Chieftain lower plate. And our Mouse is still fairly healthy, which I would say is pretty decent. We're going to chill over here. We're naming on the side of the Mouse. There you go. Nice 340. We're going to chill right here. And let's see. Chieftain kills my teammate. Let's go for another shell into his lower plate. It's just me and the Mouse at this point, so it's not looking great for our team. I'm trying to move up. We're going to load a high explosive. There you go. That player's out of the game. And our Mouse does get a shell into the enemy Chieftain, which means I am also able to get a shell into the Chieftain. Let's see if we can take this Chieftain out just with a little love tap. There you go. Nice 230. Let's go for the Prog turret. Nice. There you go. And now we're going to continue pushing the Progetto and see if we can get some more damage into his tank. There you go. Let's angle our vehicle and try to stop this Prog from being able to do anything to me. Alright, Prog manages to pen me. However, we also managed to take the Prog out of the game, so that's also pretty good. We have the E50M, who is probably just going to poke me. Not really sure what to do at this point. We've done good. I mean, I really can't complain about the capabilities of the Vickers MBT in this battle. The DPM has been totally fine, the armor has done its job, so... I really can't get too mad in any one of those circumstances, and there you go. Nice hatching shell into the enemy, 50. We're going to move up and back and forth and wiggle our vehicle. Let's go over here, keep on going, and nice shot. However, he rams me and takes me out of the game. But I can't really get too mad. At the end of the day, we did 4,388 damage, which is definitely going to place us top in the team, and you can see the exact strengths and weaknesses. The gun really trolled us on that 92. Our shells just didn't want to hit him. And they weren't bad shots, just I don't know, game didn't want us to hit that 92 he won. But you can definitely see, especially where this vehicle does super well. The fact that we were able to kill that chieftain, the fact that we were able to easily deal with the mouse, and generally most of the targets in front of us, including that Progetto. I mean, this thing is basically a tier 10 when you can get that armor to work. So I genuinely do think the Vickers MBT is a very strong vehicle, but let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Either way, hopefully you enjoyed today's video, and if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure to smash that subscribe button. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.